After a period of proper silence, someone, maybe old Gramps Medno from Crick Road, would clear the phlegm from a deep cave somewhere inside himself, lean forward, blinking, wet his lips, maybe, and there'd be a curious tremble in his calloused fingers. This would cue everybody to get ready for the talking to come. Ears were primed, people settled like sows in the warm mud after a rain. Gramps looked a long while, measured his lips with a lizard tongue, then settled back and said, like always, in a high, thin old man's tenor,
"Wonder what it is. Wonder if it's a he or she or just a plain old it. Sometimes I wake up nights, twisting my corn matting, think about that jar sitting here in the long dark. Think about it hanging in liquid, peaceful and pale like an animal oyster. Sometimes I wake Ma and we both think on it."
While talking, Gramps moved his fingers in a quavering pantomime. Everybody watched his thick thumb weave and the other heavy-nailed fingers undulate.
"We both lay there thinking, and we shivers. Maybe a hot night, trees sweating, mosquitoes too hot to fly, but we shivers just the same and turn over trying to sleep."
Gramps lapsed back into silence, as if his speech was enough from him. Let some other voice talk the wonder, awe, and strangeness. Juke Marmor from Willow Sump wiped sweat off his palms on the round of his knees and softly said,
"I remember when I was a runny-nosed kid. We had a cat who was all the time making kittens. Lord Almighty, she'd a litter any time she jumped around and skipped a fence."
Juke spoke in a kind of holy softness, benevolent.
"Well, we give the kittens away, but when this one particular litter busted out, everybody within walking distance had 1-2 our cats by gift already. So Ma busied on the back porch with a big 2-gallon glass jar, filling it to the top with water. Ma said, 'Juke, you drown them kittens.' I remember I stood there, the kittens mewed, running around, blind, small, helpless, and funny, just beginning to get their eyes open. I looked at Ma, I said, 'Not me, Ma, you do it.' But Ma turned pale and said it had to be done and I was the only one handy. And she went off to stir gravy and fix chicken. I picked up one kitten. I held it. It was warm. It made a mewing sound. I felt like running away, not ever coming back."
Juke nodded his head now, eyes bright, young, seeing into the past, making it new, shaping it with words, soothing it with his tongue.
I dropped the kitten in the water. The kitten closed his eyes, opened his mouth, trying for air. I remember how the little white fangs showed, the pink tongue come out, and bubbles with it, in a line, to the top of the water. I know to this day the way that kitten floated after it was all over, drifting around, slow and not worrying, looking out at me, not condemning me for what I'd done, but not liking me either.
Hearts jumped quick, eyes swiveled from Juke to the shovel jar, back down, up again apprehensively. A pause. Jadu, man from Harem Swamp, tossed his ivory eyeballs like a dusky juggler in his head. His dark knuckles knotted and flexed, grasshoppers alive.
"You know what that is? You know. I tells you, that be the center of life, sure enough. Lord, believe me, it's so."
Swaying in a tree-like rhythm, Jadu was blown by a swamp wind no one could see, hear, or feel, save himself. His eyeballs went around again, as if cut free to wander. His voice needled a dark thread pattern, picking up each person by the lobes of their ears and sewing them into one unbreathing design.
"From that, lying back in the middy bamboo sump, all sort of thing crawl. It put out hand, it put out feet, put out tongue and horn, and it grow. Little bitty amoeba, perhap. Then a frog with a bold throat fit to bust. Yah!"
He cracked knuckles.
"It slobber on up its gummy joints, and it am human. That am the center of creation. That am bitty bamboo mama, from which we all came 10,000 year ago. Believe it."
10,000 year ago?
Whispered Granny Carnation.
It am old, looky it. It don't want no more. It know better. It hang like pork chop and frying fat. It got eye to see it, but it don't blink 'em. They don't look fetid, does they? No, man, I know better. I know that we done come from it, and we is going back to it.
What color eyes it got?
Gray.
Nah, green.
What color hair? Brown?
Black.
Red.
No, gray.
Then Charlie would give his drawling opinion. Some nights he'd say the same thing, some nights not. It didn't matter. When you said the same thing night after night in the deep summer, it always sounded different. The crickets changed it. The frogs changed it. The thing in the jar changed it. Charlie said,
What if an old man went back to the swamp, or maybe a young kid, and wandering for years and years lost in all that dripping, on them trails and gullies, and them old wet ravines and the gnats, skin turning pale and making cold and shriveling up. Been away from the sun, he'd keep withering away, and up and finally sink into a muck hole, and lay in a kind of scum like the mosquitoes sleeping in slump water. Why, far we can tell, this might be someone we know, some we passed words with once in time, for all we know.
Hissing from among the womenfolk back in the shadow. One woman standing, eyes shining black, fumbled for words. Her name was Mrs. Tridden, and she murmured,
Lots of little kids run stark naked in the swamp every year. They runs around and never comes back. I almost got lost myself. I lost my little boy, Folly. That way, you don't suppose.
Breath was snatched through nostrils, constricted, tightened. Mouths turned down at corners, bent by hard, clenching muscle. Heads turned on celery-stalked necks, and eyes read her horror and hope. It was in Mrs. Tridden's body, wired taut, holding to the wall, back of her, with straight fingers stiff.
My baby,
she whispered. She breathed it out.
My baby, my Foley, is that you? Foley, tell me, baby, is that you?
Everybody held their breath, turning to see the jar. The thing in the jar said nothing. It just stared, blind white, out upon the multitude. And deep in raw-boned bodies a secret fear juice ran like a spring thaw, and their resolute calmness and belief and easy humbleness was gnawed and eaten by that juice, and melted away in a torrent. Somebody screamed.
It moved! Nah, it didn't move. Just your eyes playing tricks.
Honest to God,
cried Juke.
I saw it shift slow like a dead kitten.
Hush up now. It's been dead a long, long time. Maybe since before you was born. He made a sign,
screamed Mrs. Tridden.
That's my Foley, my baby you got there. 3-year-old he was. My baby lost and gone into the swamp.
The sobbing broke from her.
Now, Miss Tridden, there now, set yourself down, stop shaking. Ain't no more your child mine. There.
One of the womenfolk held her and faded out the sobbing into jerked breathing and a fluttering of her lips in butterfly quickness as the breath stroked over them, afraid. When all was quiet again, Granny Carnation, with a withered pink flower in her shoulder-length gray hair, sucked the pipe in her trap mouth and talked around it, shaking her head to make the hair dance in the light.
All this talking and shoving words, like as now we'll never find out, never know what it is. Like as never found out, we won't want to know. It's like magic tricks magicians do at shows. Once you found the fake, ain't no more fun in the innards of a jack-bob. We come collecting round here every 10 nights or so, talking, social-like, with something, always something to talk about. Stands to reason if we spied out what the damn thing is, there'd be nothing to chew about, so there.
Well, damn it to hell,
rumbled a bull voice.
I don't think it's nothing.
Tom Carmody, standing, as always, in shadow. Out on the porch, just his eyes staring in, his lips laughing at you dimly, mocking. His laughter got inside Charlie like a hornet sting. Theedy had put him up to it. Theedy was trying to kill Charlie's new life. She was.
Nothing,
repeated Carmody harshly.
In that jar but a bunch of old jellyfish from the sea cove, a rotten and stinking fit to whelp.
You might be jealous, Cousin Carmody?
Asked Charlie slow.
Ha!
Snorted Carmody.
I just come around to watch you dumb fools job about nothing. You notice I never set foot inside or took part. I'm going home right now. Anybody want to come along with me?
He got no offer of company. He laughed again, as if this were a bigger joke, how so many people could be so far gone, and Theedy was raking her palms with her fingernails, away back in a corner of the room. Charlie saw her mouth twitch, and was cold and could not speak. Carmody, still laughing, rapped off the porch with his high-heeled boots, and the sound of crickets took him away. Granny Carnation gummed her pipe.
Like I was saying before the storm, that thing on the shelf, why couldn't it be sort of all things? Lots of things. All kinds of life, death, I don't know. Mixed rain and sun and muck and jelly, all that together. Grass and snakes and children and mist, and all the nights and days in the dead canebrake. Why, it's have to be one thing. Maybe it's thoughts.
And the talking ran soft for another hour, and Theodie slipped away into the night on the track of Tom Carmody, and Charlie began to sweat. They were up to something, those two. They were planning something. Charlie sweated warm all the rest of the evening. The meeting broke up late, and Charlie bedded down with mixed emotions. The meeting had gone off well, but what about Theodie and Tom? Very late, with certain star coveys shuttled down the sky marking the time as after midnight, Charlie heard the shushing of the tall grass parted by her penduluming hips. Her heels tacked soft across the porch, into the house, into the bedroom. She lay soundlessly in bed, cat eyes staring at him. He couldn't see them, but he could feel them staring. He waited. Then he said,
I'm awake.
Then he waited.
Charlie?
What?
Bet you don't know where I've been. Bet you don't know where I've been.
It was a faint, derisive sing-song in the night. He waited. She waited again. She couldn't bear waiting long, though, and continued.
I've been to the carnival over in Cape City. Tom Carmody drove me. We talked to the carnival boss, Charlie. We did. We sure did.
And she sort of giggled to herself, secretly. Charlie was ice cold. He stirred upright on an elbow. She said,
We found out what is in your jar, Charlie.
insinuatingly.